Hey guys, welcome back to Clever TV. I'm Jocelyn Davis, and today I'm hanging out in the lounge for a very special episode of the show with our Vampire Diaries in-house fanboy, Brian Corsetti.
What's up, guys?
So, of course, I mentioned the Vampire Diaries. You are a huge fan.
Love.
I know there's a lot of guys out there that love the show.
Yeah, well, you know what? I gotta tell you, they've reeled me in since last season, and I haven't missed an episode since.
As you should not miss an episode, because season 2 was amazing, and today we are actually going to be breaking down all of the predictions that we have for season 3. You want to kick us off?
That's right.
Brian?
We're number 1, Caroline and Tyler. Will they make a go at love? What do you think?
You know, that kind of seems like that's the way that it's going, and I mean, they kind of bring the werewolf world and the vampire world together
As like a friendship type of thing, or to where they can kind of like, they're the mediator between the two worlds.
Yeah, and it's a very unrequited love right now, which I always just like to see on a show. I don't know. I mean, would you like to see it, or are you kind of like whatever?
I would like to
about
see
it?
them together.
Yeah.
Because I think that in a weird way that they could be the fighting force to get Klaus in season 3.
True that. Yeah, they could like
you know
pull
what I mean?
some trickery on him.
There's always a solution. If you notice, like the bite of a werewolf can kill a vampire. Well, they've remedied that
with Klaus's blood.
There's always going to be a solution.
It's a good life lesson for people out there watching. Okay, the next big thing that we're predicting for next season, or actually we're not really sure about, is Jeremy. At the end of last night's episode, the season finale, we saw him happen to run into, inside of his house, his 2 dead ex-girlfriends, Vicky and Anna, who both happen to be vampires. But then, I mean, we saw also last night when Bonnie did the spell to bring Jeremy back to life, we knew there were going to be consequences.
Sure.
So, I mean, what's your guess? Is this reality?
When I first saw that, I thought, okay, season 3 is being set up like this. He is going to be the only person to see vampires, like kind of like a sixth sense. You
like
know what I mean?
People,
He's going to see dead people.
Yeah.
But you brought up a really interesting one too. What was that?
Well, then we were thinking, I was like, maybe Klaus is going to be in on the mix on this one. But I think next season we're going to kind of see more of, the consequences behind the witches who are telling Bonnie you're taking advantage of your powers. So there's going to be like maybe some punishment involved. But I'm excited to see Vicky and Anna. I hope that they're reintegrated into the show.
That was a good tag. I was always upset when Anna, died. So I was like, yeah, she was cool,
And Vicky was only on a few episodes. I mean, I guess like half of season 1.
In the real world, I forget her name, who plays Vicky, is like, yes, I'm back.
Kayla, I think it's Ewell or something like that. She's probably like, stoked. I don't know how they kept that a secret. It's a big secret.
Number 3 is Elijah dead for good. No way.
And you had a really good point about the originals in general, because that knife, that dagger is still in him.
Well, and then they showed that it looked as though there's a bunch of coffins in the background where I assumed all the other original family members were there, and they just kind of shoved them away in some warehouse, assuming that they all had daggers in them.
Yeah.
So at some point, if somebody finds that, unrelease all the daggers, all the originals will be coming back.
And I don't really know what's going to happen on that end, but that does bring us to our next point, our next prediction. Klaus and the originals, we already know for a fact, based on what the executive producers for the show are saying, the originals are really going to anchor the storyline next season, in season 3. And so, I mean, what do you think? Do you think the original family members are going to side with Klaus? Or do you think Elijah will get to them and turn them on Klaus?
That's a great question. I think that they're gonna be against Klaus because Klaus originally killed them, right?
All of them, yes.
All of them, and then he also betrayed Elijah for a second or third time because Elijah had an opportunity to kill Klaus 2 episodes ago. So I think the originals are gonna kind of be on the werewolf and vampire side and do anything and everything, and which brings another interesting. Concern is I'm spacing on Damon's brotother's name. Stefan. I think that the originals are going to be against Stefan as well because now Stefan's on Klaus's team.
Or is he? He could be the one to pull out all the daggers. It's possible. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It's kind of crazy. Next point. What's happening up next here?
What is Stefan's fate? Will he go back to Catherine now that he's sided with Klaus to save Damon?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it might happen at least momentarily, and that's going to be really, really weird because, Elena is not going to want to be with a guy who's, on this murderous rampage with a hybrid vampire werewolf. sounds so weird to even be saying all this stuff, by the way.
Hybrid vampire werewolf.
Yeah.
That should be a bumper sticker.
What do you think? I mean, do you think that Stefan will reunite with Catherine?
I don't know. I mean, is Catherine gonna, like, season 2 was all about Catherine and Elena.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could go anywhere. It can go any direction. I mean, I would like to see Catherine and Stefan together. I'd like to see Damon finally find true love.
Yeah.
You know, can they kind of balance that out and make it work? I don't know. I mean, Catherine always seems to put a knife in their backs whenever she can. So she's kind of like a wild card to me.
Which brings us to our last and final and probably biggest prediction for season 3. And that is the question, are Damon and Elena going to get together now?
I'm going to go out on a long whim here and say yes, season 3, Damon and Elena are going to be together.
And out of sheer interest, I'm totally going to agree with you on this one.
Okay.
Damon is totally emo now, which I love.
Yes.
He's like vulnerable and feeling emotions and sadness and stuff now. And so I think that Elena, you know, is going to really try to take care of him,
Tap into his sensitive side.
Tap into that sensitive side.
I think it's just a front. I think Damon has a front. I think he's really more sensitive than Stefan.
I think I agree with you.
And he puts on that front, and I think that's what Elena's most attractive to.
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't know how I'm going to wait for season 3.
I'm not. I'm going to re-watch the whole second season.
Yeah.
And lose my mind every time.
Crazy!
That's right.
Season 2 did have so many episodes. I want to say like close to 20 or maybe even more.
I don't even know. It was intense.
I know. So many things to look forward to. Brian Corsetti, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
You guys make sure to follow him on Twitter. That's at Brian Corsetti. Check him out on ClevverMusic. Follow them on Twitter as well, at ClevverMusic. And as always, stick with us right here on Clever TV for all the latest news on the Vampire Diaries. We'll see you guys next time.
Adios.